Okie dokie, still section 1, theory of heat, unit 3, refrigeration and refrigerants, page 60 and 61. Used to detect chlorinated refrigerant gas leaks. It operates on the principle that when the refrigerant is exposed to an open flame in the presence of glowing copper, the flame will change color. The halide leak detector should be used in well-ventilated areas because the resulting blue or green flame indicates that toxic gas is being produced. Although the amounts produced can be very small, the gas is an irritant, corrosive as well as toxic. The electronic leak detector in figure 3.35. Okay, 3.35 electronic leak detector is battery operated, is small enough to be easily carried, and has a flexible probe. The refrigerant charge specifications for some residential air conditioning equipment call for half-ounce accuracy. The electronic leak detectors are capable of detecting leak rates down to 1/4 of an ounce per year. Another detection system uses a high-intensity ultraviolet lamp, figure 3.36. See, that's the ultraviolet leak detection equipment. Never heard of that. An additive introduced into the refrigerant system will show up as a bright yellow-green glow under the ultraviolet lamp at the source of the leak. After repairing the leak and wiping the area clean with a general-purpose cleaner, the area can be re-inspected. The additive remains in the system. Should a new leak be suspected at a later date, it will still show as a yellow-green color under the ultraviolet light. This system will detect leaks as small as 1/4 of an ounce per year. 3.15. The boiling point of the refrigerant. The boiling point of a refrigerant should be low at atmospheric pressure so that low temperatures may be obtained without going into a vacuum. For example, R410A can be boiled as low as -61 degrees Fahrenheit before the boiling pressure goes into a vacuum, whereas R12 can be boiled only as low as -21 degrees Fahrenheit before it goes into a vacuum. Water would have to be boiled at 29.67 inches Hg vacuum just to boil at 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Note: when using the compound gauge below atmospheric pressure, the number scale is different from the one that is used above atmospheric pressure. Above atmospheric pressure, the units of pressure are psig, while below atmospheric pressure, the units of pressure, vacuum, are inches of mercury. In the vacuum region, the gauge starts at atmospheric pressure, 0 psig, and continues down to a perfect vacuum, 29.92 inches Hg. When possible, design engineers avoid using refrigerants that must be in a vacuum to boil at the desired temperature. When a system operates in a vacuum and a leak occurs, the atmosphere is pulled inside the system instead of the refrigerant leaking out of the system. 3.16. Pumping characteristics. Pumping characteristics have to do with how much refrigerant vapor is pumped per amount of work accomplished. Water was disqualified as a practical refrigerant for small equipment, partly for this reason. 1 pound of water at 40 degrees Fahrenheit has a vapor or specific volume of 2,440 foot cubed compared to about 0.5 cubic feet for R410A. This means that the system capacity is directly related to the number of pounds of refrigerant that are circulated through the system per unit of time. This is expressed in units called pounds per minute, or lb/min. Since the vapor volume of 40 degrees Fahrenheit water is so high, the compressor would have to move 2,445 cubic feet of vapor to move a single pound. Thus, the compressor would have to be very large for a water system. Modern refrigerants meet all of these requirements better than any of the older types. 3.17. Popular refrigerants and their important characteristics. The American National Standards Institute, ANSI, and the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, ASHRAE, are responsible for naming refrigerants and identifying their characteristics. Figure 3.37, that's on the next page. Figure 3.37, it's just a big thing. It's a list of refrigerants and some of their characteristics. So figure 3.37 is an organized list of some of the more popular refrigerants and their characteristics. For more detailed information on refrigerants, refer to Unit 9, Refrigerant and Oil Chemistry and Management, Recovery, Recycling, Reclaiming, and Retrofitting. As mentioned earlier, environmental issues like ozone depletion and global warming have forced manufacturing phase-out dates for many refrigerants. However, these refrigerants can still be used if recovered or recycled, or if they are in an operating refrigeration or air conditioning system. Environmental issues and phase-out dates have made many refrigerants very expensive due to the heavy taxes imposed. And so alternative, environmentally friendly refrigerants have entered the market. It is illegal to intentionally vent any refrigerant into the atmosphere. Stiff fines of up to $44,539 and or imprisonment can follow. Because of this, mandatory technician certification programs have educated HVAC-R personnel on environmental issues, alternative refrigerants, and legislation issues. Visit the EPA's website for the most up-to-date information regarding refrigerant-related regulations. 3.18. Refrigerant cylinder color codes. Each type of refrigerant is contained in a cylinder or drum that has a designated color. Following are the colors for some of the most frequently used refrigerants. Just going to read a few, like R407B is cream, R407C is chocolate, R401C is aqua, R404A is orange, R114 is dark blue. Some equipment manufacturers mark their compressors with color-coded tags and labels to indicate the type of refrigerant used in the system. Figure 3.38 shows refrigerant containers for some newer refrigerants. As you can see, there's color-coded refrigerant cylinders and drums for some of the newer refrigerants. It's colorful. 3.19, Recovery, Recycling, and Reclaiming of Refrigerants. It is mandatory for technicians to recover and sometimes recycle refrigerants during installation and servicing operations to help reduce emissions of chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HCFCs, and hydrofluorocarbons to the atmosphere. Examples of recovering equipment are shown in figure 3.39. Flippity flip. We just got that. Many larger systems can be fitted with receivers or dump tanks into which the refrigerant can be pumped and stored while the system is serviced. However, in smaller capacity systems, it is not often feasible to provide these components. Recovery units or other storage devices may be necessary. Most recovery and or recycling units vary in technology and capabilities, so manufacturers' instructions must be followed carefully when using this equipment. Unit 9, Refrigerant and Oil Chemistry and Management, Recovery, Recycling, Reclaiming, and Retrofitting, includes a detailed description of the recovery, recycling, and reclaiming of refrigerants. Okay, that's pages 60 and 61. See y'all tomorrow.